Welcome back, everyone. If you're here for round 2 of my takes on the Ashes of Creation saga, congratulations. You're either a masochist or you just can't resist the MMO chaos. I don't like the kind of attention this drama attracts. But the reason I'm making this video is to address some points that may not be clear to some people, and I don't know, to stress a few things and touch on some aspects of the game I haven't discussed yet. As usual, I'll try to keep this fair and as level-headed as possible. So, if you're hoping for some overblown statement or scandal, well, this is not the place for that. Let's get this out of the way, it's not a scam. First things first, calling Ashes of Creation scam is unfair, like wildly unfair. Sure, it's far from perfect, but a scam? Nah. Scams don't give regular updates. They don't show visible progress. They don't have devs that are reasonably accessible. Scams don't deliver anything. Do you remember Chronicles of Illyria? That game sold you a $1,000 plot of imaginary land in a game that didn't exist. That's a scam. Is Ashes slow? Painfully. Are the demos overhyped? Sometimes, yeah. Is it frustrating? Of course, but the devs are delivering something, albeit at a snail's pace. And while they're overpromising and under-delivering, that's still a far cry from outright deception. And then you may say, oh, but it had more content 4 years ago than it does now. Probably, but we don't know what's under the hood. They claim most of the delay and rework is because of the change from Unreal Engine 3 to 4 and then again to Unreal Engine 5. As some of you commented, it's not enough to justify the slow pace of progress, but I'm not going to claim I know anything about Unreal Engine. I never liked it much, because it makes every game feel a bit samey. But that's just my personal opinion. One can say, oh, and they haven't delivered on their stuff. You've been duped. Well, first off, I haven't been duped at all. I paid $100 to test a game in the alpha stage, and guess what? I tested the game in the alpha stage for a few weekends. It was fun, even. And it also looked promising. That's what an alpha is. I knew what I was getting into, and I got what I paid for. Communication, the real villain of the story. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Miscommunication. Intrepid Studios has this bad habit of showcasing features as they wish they were, not as they actually are. Case in point, the desert biome. On YouTube, it looked pretty neat. Seemed like something more complete. In reality, a barren wasteland sprinkled with reused assets. It's like when someone posts a glamorous selfie on Instagram and you meet them in person and it's not giving what it's supposed to give. And that's where they shoot themselves in the foot. When you hype people up with polished demos and the actual game looks like it's still in kindergarten, people feel misled. And you know what? That's valid. As Asmongold put it, when enough people feel misled, odds are they have been misled, even if it wasn't intentional. A word to the skeptics. Now, let me be clear, I'm not dunking on people for being skeptical. It's completely fair to demand value for your money. It's your hard-earned cash. And yeah, when you spend $100 to access an alpha, you're allowed to be worried that you've just flushed it down the drain. But skepticism doesn't mean we should grab the pitchforks and start screaming scam. Keep your expectations in check. Be critical, yes. Hold Intrepid accountable, absolutely. But maybe ease up on the torch-wielding mob vibes. Let's talk about that $100 price tag now. Here's where I get spicy. $100 for alpha access. Are you kidding me? That's more than most finished games cost. And for what? A game that's barely functional, only playable on specific weekends? Listen, I get it. Intrepid sets the price. It's their product and they have every right to do so. And if people are willing to pay it, fine. But let's be real, players aren't just consumers here, they're testers. We're providing valuable feedback and bug reports. We're essentially unpaid QA staff, and we're being charged premium rates for the privilege. That's a choice. And honestly, the desperation for a new WoW killer is so real that people will pay anything for a glimmer of hope. They'll hand over their money just to scratch that itch for a few weekends. Reality check. Big projects are messy. Here's the thing about big projects. Things go wrong. Constantly. People quit, servers crash, backups fail, and sometimes your supplier sends you garbage. And that's just a regular Tuesday. Add a pandemic to the mix, an engine switch, and you've got a recipe for chaos. As someone well acquainted with big projects, I can assure you there are so many moving parts, and some of them are completely out of your control. Building an MMO is an Herculean task. It's not just a game, it's a whole world with elements that have to work together seamlessly. Most of us, including me, don't fully understand what specifically goes into game development. So yeah, things are going to be slow, messy, and frustrating. On top of that, there are probably issues that don't come to light. Sometimes they involve private or delicate matters, stuff like health, family, or main talents leaving the team. Other times, it's unrelated things like lawsuits or natural disasters. Many factors could affect development, but the devs don't disclose everything, nor should they. That said, I'm speculating hard here, so I'll stop myself. Point is, big studios usually have ways to work around setbacks by redirecting resources. Smaller teams don't have that luxury. The grind is real, and so is the frustration. Speaking of frustration, can we talk about the grind? Right now, Ashes is basically Grind Simulator 2025. There's no real content, just endless farming for levels and materials. And when exploiters get to level 25 in 2 days by abusing bugs, it's a slap in the face to everyone who's actually trying to test the game. It's hard to stay motivated when you feel like the devs aren't addressing these issues. If they're not punishing exploiters, what makes me think they care about my bug reports? Well, that's all I got for today, guys. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Am I sounding too much like a keyboard warrior? Hit like if you like, subscribe if you wanna, be cool, stay kind. And remember, we're all here because we love games. Let's not ruin it with unnecessary drama. Thanks for watching. Bye.